Let me show you this real quick, bro. So, psychologists, they did this study, right, where they had this bridge that you could walk across, and it's like a really windy day. So just like imagine this bridge is like rocking back and forth, and they had this dude walk across it. This dude's probably like scared out of his mind, right? Because he needs to walk across this bridge. The bridge is shaky, and it's really windy, so it's like going back and forth, right? And this dude's heart is racing. This dude's anxiety's like out the roof, and he's probably just like he's stressed out, right? Because he needs to walk across this, and eventually he does. Eventually he makes it across all the way, and here he is now, all happy because he made it to the end of the bridge. And what the psychologists do is have him talk to this girl that's like standing right here, right? This girl. And as they're talking, they ask the dude, like, do you feel sexually attracted to this girl? And the dude said yes, even though they literally just met. And the reason for that, it's not just because like this girl's attractive. This girl could be like a 3 out of 10, bro. But he still has these like feelings of sexual attraction for her, sexual arousal. It isn't because of the girl. The girl has nothing to do with his emotions. It's because of the feeling he got when he was walking on this bridge. Because you know, like when you get that sexual tension, when you see some girl that you like, and like your heart starts racing, you start getting anxiety because you see like an attractive girl. That anxiety he felt was because of the bridge. But because he's seeing this girl in front of him, his brain has associated the feelings of anxiety, the feelings of his heart racing, and that tension he has inside of him. His brain associated that with seeing this girl. And now all of a sudden, this girl, he thinks like this girl is the reason why he's feeling like that. And his brain has convinced him that he is sexually aroused by her. Do you realize that if you are struggling with an addiction, if you are struggling with starting new habits that you just can't stay consistent in for whatever reason, if you use that concept of associating this emotion with something else, then you end up like hijacking your brain and you take control of your brain back. And let me show you like an example of what I mean by that. So here is me, right? I am sad because I want to listen to music less, right? I don't really want to listen to music as much anymore because it's not allowed in Islam. I'm trying to like my best not to listen to music. And it's tough, bro, because I've literally grown up listening to music my whole life. I spent like over 20 years listening to music. So how am I supposed to stop? This music has literally been there for me at my lowest. So it's kind of hard to stop. And every time I've stopped, I've tried stopping so many times. Every single time I stop, I'd go back to music like a week later. So every time I get this thought of listening to music, I would end up listening to music, right? Here's me with headphones on and I'm listening to music and I feel happy again. And this is the path that most people end up doing. They end up getting this craving, they end up getting this urge to listen to music, or they get this urge to smoke, or this urge to go jerk off, and they end up following their desires. But you don't have to do that, because what if every single time you get that thought to listen to music, you do something else instead? Like, I wanted to actually get closer to God and listen to like the Quran more. So every single time I'd get this thought to listen to music, instead of to listening to music, bro, I would listen to like the lo-fi Quran, bro. Like they have these they have like Quranic verses on YouTube where you can listen to, and it's like it sounds exactly like music just because it's like really like low quality and it's like raining in the background and it's like there's a bunch of echoes and reverbs in the back, so it sounds like I'm listening to music but I'm really not. So I have literally tricked my brain into thinking I'm listening to music. And so every single time I get that urge now to listen to music, I listen to the Quran instead. And I have literally changed my brain's perspective on this addiction. Every single time that I would get this thought, it's not to listen to music anymore, it's to listen to Quran. Another example, I have tried to Another example, I have tried so long to stop drinking coffee, right? Because I drink coffee like every single day to the point where coffee does nothing for me anymore. And so I try to stop, but then I'd get withdrawals, and all I would do is just go drink more coffee again. So what I did was, I know that I'm gonna get these withdrawals. I know my head's gonna hurt and I'm gonna be tired. So let me go take like two Tylenols in the morning, right? Before, like, at the time that I usually take coffee. And when I get that thought, that urge to drink coffee, I would make myself tea. I'd make myself like this little lemon ginger tea and then drink it. And it would, it won't feel the same, of course, but it's similar enough to satisfy your brain's craving. And you do this a bunch of times over and over and over again, to the point where your brain will just get the hint that this craving is associated with this. Because this is essentially what's happening when you are going through like the process and everything. There is first the cue. The cue is basically the thought in your head when you feel like doing something. Like, for example, let's say you're on NoFap and you get the thought in your head to go and fap. That is the cue. That is your brain telling you that this is an addiction that I like, and I'm going to give you these chemicals in your head to make you feel like doing this bad habit, doing the habit that you know you're not supposed to be doing, but it feels good, so I'm going to make you do it anyways. That is the cue in your head. And what ends up happening is the cue ends up leading to the response. This is where you make or break yourself, because you can either indulge in the bad habit, which is, I'm going to put it right here, indulge, right? You get indulge in the habit that you want, you end up getting rewarded for it, but you still have that addiction, right? So you're always going to be back feeling the same way. You're always going to keep getting those cravings again to keep doing the same thing that you're doing. But right here, this is the crucial point, bro. Like, if you are able to break the chain, you are able to recognize the thoughts that pop up in your head when this happens. You think to yourself, wait, I just got a craving to go fap. I just got a craving to go eat a bunch of junk food. Instead of doing that, instead of doing what my brain wants me to do, why don't I go and work out instead? And your brain's going to be like, okay, what are you doing? Like, this isn't what I asked for. And it's going to make you feel awful. It's going to try to test you. Your brain's going to test you into seeing, like, are you actually trying to, like, mess with me, or what are you trying to do? And you just keep doing this, bro. Like, every single time this comes up, you get the cue, you get the response, you go work out, do it again, over and over and over again, until eventually the thought in your head to go fap, you've associated with working out so many times, you don't even want to fap anymore. You want to go work out now. And you do that enough times, eventually your brain just gets used to it. Your brain says, okay, you win. We're going to do what you want to do, right? Because you got to realize you are in control of your mind. Your mind isn't in control of you. And once you understand that, you realize that life is literally just a reflection of yourself. If you are able to control your own devices, you are able to control your own mind, you can control your life. Because what you need to realize is that you can't just quit a habit. It is a lot easier for you to replace the habit with something else. And there was a time where I was like addicted to weed, right? Every day, there would not be a day where I wouldn't go without smoking. And it's like, it makes sense because I live in a state where it's illegal, and I have a med card, and I live down the street from a dispensary, so I can just go there every single day. And so when I moved to a state like Texas where it's illegal and I can't get it from anywhere, and I don't have any plugs I can hit up, what I ended up doing was, I still crave like the feeling of smoking something. So I ended up going from being a stoner to becoming a nicotine addict, which is kind of like, it's I could have made better choices, of course, but it was just enough for me to be able to quit this addiction, this weed addiction. And eventually I got over the nicotine addiction too. But baby steps, right? So like, it is easier for you to replace a habit, even if you're replacing with a bad habit, bro. Like, as long as you want to quit a habit, if you replace it with something else, it's a lot better for you. Now, you can choose better habits. Don't go swapping out your addictions for different addictions. That's just as bad. But you get what I'm trying to say, bro. So that's literally how I convinced myself to enjoy doing the stuff I don't like to do.